folks to Noob-Splaining. My name is Wolf. If you're new around here, this is where I explain the crazy, over-the-top world of Warhammer 40,000 that nerds like me love so much, to people who know little to nothing about it. It's also where the Keyboard Inquisition gets to make visits to see if A, they can learn something new, B, see if they've made a mistake so then call an exterminatus in the comments, and or C, just listen to me take the piss out of this amazing franchise. Now, shameless plug time, if you have a couple of quid, dollars or euros spare, please donate to my Just Giving page for the charity fight I'm having in a few months' time. Should be a link in the description, that is if I remember. Thank you. So, now although I'm in the middle of a Combat Patrol review series, I am deviating once again, as Games Workshop are more interested right now in releasing yet another 27 Primaris Space Marine captains than getting the rest of these Combat Patrols reworked. And also, although I am waiting for YouTube to update on my channel page, I have had confirmation that I have hit the next major milestone. 500 subscribers. I am now well on my way to getting my hands on that play button, but that doesn't mean we can relax, folks. I still need a comment, a like, and if you're not subscribed, please do. And if you are subscribed, then what I really need is more views, so please share this video with anyone and everyone you can think of. Now, with this being a 500 sub special, I thought I would talk about some of the changes in the lore over the years, things that people get wrong, including myself, and some common misconceptions about the franchise in general. Now, these are common mistakes a noob will make, and it will make you look like an amateur, so make sure you don't do these, folks. And no, I will not be covering that bit of lore that was released recently regarding the Custodes, as I feel it was handled so perfectly well by Games Workshop and was easily and accepted so readily by the community. And with that blatant sarcasm out of the way, let's crack on. Now, before we start, I am pretty much doing much of this from memory, so no doubts I will miss something or get something wrong. If I do, feel free to get out your holy blessed Inquisition sanctioned keyboards and put it in the comments. Let's start off with a few misconceptions. The setting of the fantasy battle, which then became Age of Sigmar and is now the old times, is just a backwater planet within the 40k universe. Unfortunately not true. Although there may be planets that resemble those settings, it is two completely different franchises that shares a lot of the same themes, and the Chaos Gods. Another good misconception as well, and this is one I fell for, the Baneblade was originally a scout tank in the golden age of mankind. This was unfortunately just a fan theory that grew legs and started running, and it even suckered me in at one point, as it is very believable, and I would love to see what the idea of a golden age of technology super heavy tank was. But we know what it was the Baneblade. It always has been a super heavy tank. There are only 20 Primarchs. This one boils my blood, and we should be far enough into the video now for me to say how I really feel. Anyone who says there is only 20 Primarchs is a fucking idiot. The 21st Primarch, Omegon, is an in-universe secret that us, the audience, knows about, as it adds even more levels of intrigue and subterfuge to the already highly clandestine ways of the Alpha Legion. It's kinda like the prequel trilogy of the Star Wars. We know Anakin ends up as Darth Vader. We just want to see how. Whereas Empire Strikes Back, the reveal that he's Luke's father was a big secret. Now, a bit of changes in Space Marine lore. Space Marines originally, around the release of Space Hulk and more specifically its expansion Deathwing, expanded on a lot of the Space Marine lore which has now been totally changed. Firstly, the Space Marines' genetic augmentations only extended their lifespans to around 200 years old, meaning they either die in battle or of old age. Nowadays we know that Space Marines are functionally immortal, so each Marine is destined to die in battle. That's kinda sad in a way. Also, back then, instead of dying of old age, a really good Space Marine, and by good I mean more of a murderous psychotic than his mates, they could actually volunteer to be interred in a dreadnought to extend their lifespans even more. This has been changed again now to only gravely injured heroic Marines get interred into dreadnoughts, and when I say heroic, I mean murderous psychotics. Everything the Space Marines use is a relic that can't be replaced. Now this was true at one point, and it literally referred to everything. Their armour, weapons, vehicles, dreadnoughts, the spaceships, they were all ancient relics that humanity can no longer build, so the loss of even a single suit of power armour or a power sword was a blow the Imperium would never recover from. This has slowly been retconned over the years, because after 10,000 years of warfare, the Imperium should be down to sticks, stones and harsh fucking language. So now it's pretty much everything can be made, it's just some things take so long the Imperium cannot replace it fast enough. While the current versions of power arm and bolt rifles can be churned off the production line faster than a pair of Nikes from a Chinese sweatshop, Land Raiders are about the only things now that cannot be made due to the rare machine spirit in the vehicle and the construction method of its titanium armour plating. This was also the same for Titans as well. They could no longer be made, but this was a gained retcon to, I believe, just the Emperor class Titan could no longer be made, and the others take decades to make, even a single one, especially since a new Titan class, the Iconoclast, was added into the game a few years ago in our timeline. In reality though, it is of course if the Mechanicum didn't spend 3 hours using incense, null oil and a lot of prayers and chants to bless a single fucking rivet before the servitor spends 20 seconds put it in place, the Imperium would have a lot more fucking Titans running around. I suppose I ought to address this one. Emperor Chris is not his real name. That's something one of my viewers hilariously named him in a comment, and so I will always refer to the God Emperor of Mankind as Emperor Chris, because that's my sense of humour. Also, Emperor Chris is not a god. He is by far, or was at his peak anyway, the most powerful psyker humanity has ever seen, which gives him the ability to do things that make him appear to be godlike, especially to lesser mortals. For example, making various loyalist demons like the Saint Celestine and the Legion of the Damned appear. In reality, he is just a man, albeit an extremely powerful one, but nobody knows his real name. That's just an in-joke for this channel. Another interesting fact in the lore that has since been changed is the Primarchs were originally just normal humans, and were later retconned into Emperor Chris's genetically built sons. Also, Emperor Chris does not see them as sons, they are just tools to win the war against Chaos. The Badab War was the first ever major documented time several Space Marine chapters fell to Chaos and went traitor. This is a fact that is true, and although in the timeline in-universe it happened way after the Horus Heresy, it was basically the alpha version of the Horus Heresy as they were developing the lore. The Badab War was covered in great depth, yet at the same time the Horus Heresy was hardly a paragraph. With over 50 books and 2 game systems based on it now, most people don't have a fucking clue what the Badab War was, but can tell you what the Horus Heresy was all about. I suppose an argument can be made that in-universe it's more documented than the Heresy, as most humans in-universe have been taught that there is only 9 Primarchs, those being the loyalist ones, and the others have been purged from history. The Eldari claim they won the war in heaven. No, they fucking didn't. The Catan and Necrons did. Then the Necrons turned on the Catan, which was very exhausting, so they went for a little nap for about 60 million years. So with them vacating the top spot on the podium, the Eldari were made the winners by default, and have been super OP ever since. I'm assuming the Krogs were giving a runners-up participation medal, but the Orcs have had a bigger downfall than the Vikings, who went from horny helmeted barbarians to just, well, horny helmeted Europeans. The Tyranids are running from a bigger threat in their galaxy. Wrong again, I'm afraid. This is also another fan theory that has gained traction, and many were suckered in as the thought of a race so powerful it makes Tyranids shit their pants is absolutely terrifying to everyone else. Alas, the truth is much less scary, but also worrying. Basically, the Tyranids ate the entirety of their galaxy, so they've come to ours to eat it. The Drukhari are not psychic. Actually, they are. They are just as psychic as any of the Eldari race. They just choose not to use their psychic powers, because if they do, Slaanesh will do worse things to them than what I did to your mother last week. I don't think I need to cover this one, but I might as well. The Imperium and the Space Marines are the good guys. Way better lore tubers have covered this in far more articulate ways than this old fool could. So let me just say, everyone is a fucking bad guy in Warhammer 40k. It's just some are less bad than others. Warhammer models are expensive and overpriced. I suppose this is more of a personal thing. Personally, I think the quality of Games Workshop models is far superior to anything else I've seen out there, and those other models are not that much cheaper than Games Workshop models, but do, in my opinion, have a significant reduction in quality. But then, you're not going to get a Ferrari for Ford prices. I know some people will disagree with that, but that's just my point of view. Painting is hard. No, it's not. It just requires practice like any new skill. And unless you're planning on painting a model to win a Golden Demon competition, which is Games Workshop's official painting competition by the way, then all you need is just a wet palette, watch a few videos and a bit of practice and you'll be churning out some great quality models in surprisingly little time. The models can be difficult to assemble. Now, this may have been true 20 years ago or with other companies' models, but most Games Workshop stuff is either push to fit or super easy to put together. Yes, a few do have some fiddly little bits, but not many, and most of these bits are just optional extras just to add some, I suppose, extra decoration to your already, in my opinion, highly detailed models. And that's about everything I can think of right now. I'm sure there's plenty I've missed, so please put it in the comments what lore changes, fallacies and general misconceptions you can think of that people often have about this wonderful world of Warhammer 40,000. In the meantime, I think that's enough for this week. I just do want to say one thing, however. Thank you, everybody, for letting me get to 500 subs, and I can't wait to hit 1,000. Take care, folks. I'll see you next time.